Been a couple days since I worked on making my little roller bearings here, and what I did was I stopped and picked up a couple of items that are going to help me here. I picked up a finer grit grinding stone, a small one that will fit my Dremel tool, my roto tool, and I'm going to use that to help me dress up these, clean them up a little bit better. Now, I'm not really concerned about it, but I do want to try and make it a little bit smoother on some of these rougher ones. Some of these ones I did near the end here came out a lot better. So that's going to help with that, hopefully. And then I also picked up a couple of cutoff discs to fit my angle grinder, which hopefully are going to be able to allow me to cut these off with some precision. So we're going to see. Well, this grinder works okay, but problem is as soon as I get in a little bit too far, then I can't hold this parallel and square to the grooves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reserve this operation until I get to the point where I'm actually cutting these off. So I'll make a cut and then come back and clean it up. So what I think I'm going to do next is try my first cut. So I'm going to have to set up my angle grinder with that cut. Alright, so just like the grinding process, I'm going to keep my jig here rotating the stock while I'm cutting it so that I can hopefully get a nice clean cut. Alright, I cut off the bad section there from my first mishap when I was grinding, and then I cut it to my first length, and you can see that came out really nice. So now I can make my next cut here, and I will have my first replacement roller bearing. Here's an original, and there is the hopefully soon to be first replacement. Alright, there you go, side by side. Top one's the original, bottom one's the replacement one. Just a hair longer, but I think because of the design of that bearing, that's actually not going to make a difference. Alright, I've cut, let's see, 4, and now I've got to move this out far enough so I can cut one more, and then I got to go back to grinding new grooves. Well, that's my scrap one. I just cut off that one, and I've got 2 more grooves. I've cut 2 more, but my disc is down to, well, too small a diameter. So I'm going to switch discs. I actually bought 2 different size discs. They're both same diameter for my to fit my grinder, but the thickness of the wheels is different. This one had a thinner wheel, 0.05 inch I think it was. I don't even remember now. This one here is a 1/16 inch. It's a little bit thicker. So we'll see how that one works out. Yeah, so this one was only 0.04, so it's a 40 thousandths inch thick disc, and this is a 1/16 of an inch, which I don't know what that is decimal, but that definitely thicker, so that might work out a little bit better. These discs run me about $1.75 a piece at the store, so I gladly sacrifice several of these to get my things cut. Well, with the good ones, the original good ones that I can salvage, and then the ones I've cut now, I've got about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 15, so I'm almost there. And then I'm going to cut a few extras while I'm on a roll, because I'm getting better at it the longer I do it. And then I'll sit down and I'll decide which ones came out the best and use the originals with the top ones out of the ones I cut. Just cut a couple more. I just move it out this far and I grind a couple of grooves. Then I switch to the cutting disc, cut them off, and then I switch back to the grinding disc, move this back out, and repeat. And I'm doing that because I don't want this hanging out too far from my makeshift support bearings here, because then I'm going to get more wobble or chatter, and it's going to be a less fine grind than I want. You can even see there's a difference when I grind the one that's out at this is the one that was actually closest to the vise before I moved it.
So that one is actually smoother than, say, like the first one I ground out of that batch, which was, I think, this one. Yeah, this one right here. So this one's got a little more imperfection on the area that I ground. But again, that's not where the bearing actually rides. That actually is a contact surface of the actual roller bearing. Okay, there's 13 homemade ones, plus I got my 7 originals. It gives me 20. I only need 19 total, but I'm going to cut, I think I'll cut like 3 or 4 more, add them to the pile, and then I'll go through and I'll decide which ones are the worst 3 and dump those. I'm going to remove one of the bushing, one of the seals from the housing here. I want to see if I can get any numbers off of it. I've already actually found a couple different sources for this seal. I can actually get them through my Napa for about $8 and change a piece. If I go online to some places, I can get them for as low as about $4.50 a piece. Then I got to pay shipping. So, but I also know my local bearing supply might have this seal. The shaft is like 1.5 inch diameter shaft, so it's probably not that uncommon a seal size. This is really peened up by somebody. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this seal out so I can insert the shaft and also get a better idea how badly worn that bushing is inside there. Well, that seal's really pressed in there. Tried getting a screwdriver under the lip here, and the lip actually just pried up. So I'm going to end up completely destroying the seal in the process of getting it out, but I'm not really worried about that because I wanted to replace them anyways. But I think I could forget about trying to get a number off of this because it's really banged up and it's been painted. Yeah, it's funny. It looks like, judging from these really chewed up areas on the side here, it looks like somebody really had a heck of a time trying to get those arms off at some point maybe, and they were wedging something behind here and beating on it. Because I know I didn't do all this damage. What I did is I took a screwdriver, banged in down behind this, kind of deformed it enough so I could get the screwdriver underneath there, and now I can pop it right out. Hopefully this hole is still pretty round. Yeah, I'll give it a quick whiz on the wire wheel, the soft brushed wire wheel, and see if we can't see any numbers. Well, I got the seal out and I cleaned it up on the wire wheel, and I see no evidence of there having ever been any numbers stamped on this seal on this side. The back side of the seal, oddly enough, when I started to clean it, I realized that it's actually got a rubber coating on it. So it's actually got a little rubber on the back that when you drive this seal down in, it must help seal against that little area right there. So that's interesting. Now, if we look at the, let me reposition it so we can look at the play in the shaft. Okay, I was debating if I wanted to go through the trouble of ordering these bronze bushings to replace them. Take a look at that. Now with the seal out, I can really get full movement to see how bad it is. And it's bad. So looks like we're going to be ordering bushings, which means looks like it's another delay. I tried sourcing these bushings somewhere else. The OD of the bushings, 1.5 inches, pretty standard. ID is 1 3/8 inches, which is also a fairly standard ID on some bushings. And the length is 1.5 inches. And it's got a Type 1 oil groove in it, which the Type 1 oil groove means you got one groove there going that way and one groove there going that way. Anyways, it's all academic because every supplier that I've talked to so far said that they're going to have to go and have it custom made by a manufacturer of bushings. So I'm waiting for a quote back for over a week now. One company I called in Connecticut that specializes in bushings gave a young lady all the information over the phone. That was over a month ago. Never got a quote. Now I'm waiting for a quote from a more local supplier who's trying to source it through somebody, maybe even that same manufacturer for all I know. Just emailed her the other day, asked if she's got a quote yet. She said no, because it's going to have to be a special made product, which as soon as you do that, that automatically means expensive. It's going to be one of these things where, to make it worthwhile, I'll probably have to order 100 of them. And I'm certainly not doing that. I only want 2. So it looks like I'm going to have to go with the only place online that I found that sold these bushings. And I think they were $21 a piece or $23 a piece on that website. But I'm convinced now that I'm not going to go through the difficulty I'm not going to go through the trouble of reassembling this whole thing with these bushings in there, because they're really lousy.